Now we're going to give the Mashoonga a break test to find out how the core ends up looking after a break condition. Does it splinter? Does it crack cleanly? What does it end up looking like? So first we must break the Mashoonga. It didn't break. Let's try again. It's doing very well. Get some wind up. Well, we find that the Mashoonga is really holding up well against the break test. Now the question is it starting to splinter and not completely shatter? Well, we found that the Mashoonga is actually very durable and is standing up well against my attempted break test. I'm going to try a couple more times here. It's doing very well. Now, I think what we're going to have to do is force break it. So here we go, we're going to force break it because I still want to know how this core is going to end up in a break situation. Now we're going to force break the Mashoonga to see how the core cracks. And there we go. It was a silent, quick little break. Now we will disassemble the Mashoonga to take a look at. So we've completed the forced break test of the Mashoonga. Now we want to see what effect it had on the sword. First of all, we notice that where the core broke, it's really just bent, and it seems to be holding the bend. I suspect when we open it, we will see that it's actually folded in on itself. One of the side effects is that the core is starting to push the end cap up out of the noodle in the sword. Let's check and look what's happening on this end as well. We find that as now I've taken off the cover, I'm noticing that we have some real indentations in the foam here where the forced break occurred. I'm also noticing that the noodle is sliding. We've gotten the noodle to come free of the adhesive that was holding it on. And that's surprising because that adhesive was extremely strong. But yes, it's come free. I suspect that that's because of the lateral bending has forced it loose on the sides. Let's see if we can actually slide this noodle off now that it's loose and look at the core. That would be a more interesting way to do this. Go. We have now removed the Mashoonga noodle from the core. And we can look at the core more closely, and we find that it has indeed folded at the break. Now, it hasn't cracked through, although there is some cracking at the edge of the fold. I would say overall, cracking at the end of the fold, I would say that overall this type of core fails in a fairly safe manner. Now, one of the things I was concerned about was whether I would see stress marks within the core itself from earlier fighting. And I'm studying the core now, and I don't see that kind of plastic fatigue that you would see normally in a piece of clear plastic that's been stressed. So I would say that this core is really holding up quite well. It's nicely flexible. It has a hard time getting to the point of actually failing. We had to truly force this. So I'm very impressed with the Mashoonga core. We can see more closely how the end cap is actually threaded on there. When examining the Mashoonga core after our forced break test, I was noticing that the adhesive is not completely uniform. Most of the core had adhesive on it, but there are a few spots that were missed, particularly down here by the handle, where there was no adhesive applied during the manufacturing process. But overall, the amount of adhesive is pretty good. It's probably better than most homemade noodle swords as far as uniformity of coating.